Hey, you, the automotive enthusiast, the petrol head. The reason you don't like EVs is because you haven't driven the right EV, and that's what's going to happen once you drive the Volvo XC40 and the C40 Recharge with a twin motor setup. But today we have the Volvo XC40. But it gets a single motor setup. But that means it is half the fun and half the experience? Well, that's what you're going to find out today. Alright, now before we get to the performance and handling and what really matters with this car, let's just get the design and interior features out of the way, alright? Now, you already know what the XC40 twin motor looks like, and not much has changed. It's exactly the same, where the main difference lies is in the front end. Here, this is one of the main differences. In the twin motor setup, you get a pixel LED headlight. Here, you get a full LED headlight. Now, here's where the confusion lies. While people think that with the LED setup, you don't get adaptive headlights, what you get with the pixel LED headlights. But that's not true. This is also adaptive in that it can switch between high beam and low beam depending on who's in front. The difference with the pixel LED headlights, however, it has 84 square pixel LED light setup. So that means it's more flexible in that way. It can light up some areas with high beam and some areas with low beam. This one is just on or off. That's where the main difference lies. And then it's this. You don't get fog lamps or LED fog lamps with this anymore. And that's it. Most of it remains the same. You get 19-inch alloy wheels, you get a dual paint scheme, and at the back, nothing, nada. It all remains the same. Bar this badge, where earlier it used to say twin motor, here it says just recharge. And with that, now let's get inside and show you what this one gets and what it lacks over the twin motor XC40. Alright, now speaking in terms of the interior, well, this remains the same as the XC40, and that's kind of the problem. Now with those, I felt it was kind of an uninspiring design and Volvo could have done better, and that remains the case here. However, the features do remain similar. Well, you get a 12-inch digital instrument cluster and you get a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Now you do get Google integration in terms of Google Maps, connectivity, and everything. It remains largely similar. But here you get wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, while the twin motor setup got a wireless setup. Now, another difference which comes about is that with the twin motor setup, you got a Harman Kardon audio system. Here, you get a 8-speaker system from Volvo, and to be honest, it sounds decent. Unless you're an audiophile who really knows his music, well, it'll be perfect for the majority of us. Other difference is when you don't get a 360-degree surround view camera anymore, and well, that's it. Most of it remains the same. You get a panoramic sunroof, you get wireless charging, 2-zone climate control, and more. Other than that, you also get a similar design for the interior. And another cool touch which I found in the twin motor setup, and this one thankfully remains as well, that the panels on the dashboard, they light up at night and show a nice topographical map of sorts, and it looks really cool. Other than that, you get a vegan interior, and you also get cool touches such as the waste bin, which you can store right here. And Volvo has also integrated hooks to keep a plastic bag so you can throw all your rubbish in it. So practicality wise, I think the XC40 twin motor and single motor stay alike. You get twin cup holders, you get large storage spaces, you also get the 31-liter trunk space at the front. The overall, the interior, the comfort remain alike, and that's a good thing. That was a really good touch from the car we drove earlier, and all that remains true here as well. And at the rear too, similar, comfortable, but not the best. It is practical. You get 2 Type-C charging cables along with the 2 Type-C charging cables at the front. You get armrest, 2 cup holders, AC vent, and overall you get a decently kitted out rear quarter as well. However, it's this space which somewhat leaves you lacking. In terms of the headroom, well, I'm 5'6" and I'm just about not hitting the headliner. In terms of the knee room, it's alright, terms of the shoulder room, it's all right too. And it's only the leg room which is kind of compromised. But that's something which you can overlook if you're not a really, really tall adult. So overall, a nice place to be. But it's time to get to the meat of the matter to see what the performance has to hold against its twin motor setup and overall what's it like as a premium single motor EV. So let's get started. So now in terms of its performance, the single motor setup, now that gets you 238 bhp and 420 Newton meters of peak torque. In comparison, the twin motor, well, that gives 408 bhp and 660 Newton meters. In terms of acceleration, that just shoves you back into your seat with a lot of intensity and ferocity. This one just wafts along. It's more progressive in its nature, and amongst the three of them, the XC40 twin motor, the C40 twin motor, this one, of course, feels the most gentle, feels the most progressive. And while 420 Nm may not sound a lot in comparison to those two vehicles, 420 Nm is still 420 Nm. It is still plenty fast for a lot of people. Those who don't want to break high-speed records, those who don't want to take corners at high speeds, well, its power is more than they'll ever at least want to exploit. Now, even in stop-go traffic, in city driving conditions, it doesn't feel it has 238 horses rearing to go. It doesn't feel like it has 420 Nm ready to shatter the tarmac. No, this just gets along with the job comfortably and quietly. Now, in terms of its battery capacity, yes, while power has been reduced quite a bit in the single motor setup, the battery capacity hasn't been compromised all that much. It gets a 69 kilowatt hour battery pack, and that's good for a claimed 475 kilometers of range. A twin motor setup, well, that gives you a claimed 505 kilometers. This gives you 475, as I said, so not a lot of loss. When we got the car from Volvo, it was at 95% and showed us 450 kilometers of range. Right now, we're at 64% and shows me 270 kilometers. And to be honest, we have been honing it around all day and it has done pretty well. Now, a sad part is that you don't get any drive modes, you don't get any brake regeneration modes. All you get is a single pedal drive setup. So basically, it does the brake regeneration job and also helps you stop when you let go of the throttle. Now, this, I think, is an absolute boon in city traffic because you don't have to mess around with the brake. All you have to think about is the throttle pedal, and in terms of maintenance, it will also help you save the life of your brake pads. Now, if you talk about handling, the steering is light and direct. The suspension is comfortable, it takes bumps really well, and it's not as stiff as the twin motor setup. And another added bonus over the twin motor setup is that you have less weight up front. So as a result, this car feels like it can tippy-toe around corners. So with the progressive acceleration, that is still plenty fast, and the tippy-toed nature of its handling, well, I think it's a pretty fun vehicle, and it is able to balance the everyday grind and the fun of weekend driving all in one good mix. So, ladies and gentlemen, what have we learned here? Well, the XC40 single motor variant, well, it's a fun to drive vehicle, it's great with features, and it is essentially less than what the XC40 twin motor retails for. That costs 57.49 lakh, this costs 54 lakhs. But here's the caveat. It is really down in terms of power, but not so much in terms of battery capacity. Now, if all you're after is probably range, I think this will do justice to a small, compact electric SUV. But with the amount of power on offer, with the amount of features on offer, and the amount of sheer excitement that the twin motor brings to the table, well, 57 lakh doesn't seem that much of a stretch, does it? So, in my opinion, I feel, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going for an electric SUV in this bracket, well, this offers a lot, but the twin motor version with the features, with the power, with essentially all that excitement, that does a lot more.